Hello and welcome to Palace Weekly. I am your host, Mark Francis, and this is the show where we bring you a rundown of what happened during the week. And if you want the extended stories, you can just go back and listen to the daily editions of Palace Intrigue. By the way, today is a big day for Palace Intrigue fans, and that's you. We have not only the daily edition of Palace Intrigue and the weekly edition of Palace Weekly and the Deep Crown for subscribers only, but we also have the last episode of the first season of Crown and Controversy, which is available now for download. But don't worry, there's a season 2 coming out, and that starts next Sunday. And if you are a subscriber, you can get the whole season right now. Plus, we have another bonus series for you fans, Crown and Controversy, Norway's Royal Rebels. And that first episode is out today, and if you're a subscriber, you can get that whole season right now too. And all you have to do is go up there on top of the Apple Player and hit that listen uninterrupted. And for $4.99 a month, you get all these bonus series available before everybody else. Plus, you get all the shows commercial free. And we know there's a lot of commercials. So check it out. We really appreciate your help and support with the shows. Enjoy. And this is what happened last week. The week was all about one question. Would he or wouldn't he? Prince Harry's highly publicized return to the UK had everyone playing royal roulette, trying to figure out if King Charles would actually meet with his prodigal son. Monday marked the second anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's death, a somber milestone that set the stage for what would become the week's main drama. While William and Catherine dutifully commemorated their grandmother with a visit to the local Women's Institute, Harry made his entrance from California alone, notably without Meghan and the children. The spare's arrival came with what sources described as a list of demands that had courtiers reeling. Top of the list, the same thing that's been there from the beginning: security. But Harry reportedly wasn't stopping there. He wanted ironclad guarantees that Meghan would be treated as HRH, complete with bows and curtsies from family members. For William, that was apparently a hard no. Tom Sykes in The Royalist got to the heart of the royal standoff. William thinks Charles' monarchy looks out of touch and hasn't modernized enough, while Charles believes William is shirking basic royal duty by prioritizing family life. But the real tension? William thinks Charles is weak for even considering legitimizing Harry with a meeting after Harry made millions by betraying the firm. What followed was an extraordinary game of royal chess. Harry kicked off his carefully choreographed goodwill tour, hitting all his greatest hits, Well Child awards, visits to youth organizations, the full charm offensive. And here's the thing, it worked. The old Harry was back, the likable prince from before everything went sideways. Body language expert Darren Stanton noticed something telling. When Harry's on his own, there is such a massive shift in his internal emotion. He's a lot more animated with his hands, lots of open palm gestures. When he's on his own, he doesn't even have all these balls to juggle, and he can relax. Even Harry's old school friends were reaching out, one told The Standard. Spike is seriously homesick. He's started reaching out to us more and more. It started with very long and earnest WhatsApps. Gradually, he seemed to be sounding more normal. We think he is beginning to pine for home. Meanwhile, William was conspicuously busy, suddenly working 4 days in a row after months of vacation, visits to youth organizations, mental health hubs, carefully timed to ensure Harry didn't dominate every headline. The message was clear. The future king wasn't impressed by the prodigal son's return. Then came Wednesday, and everything changed. After days of will they, won't they speculation, it happened. Harry arrived at Clarence House at 5:20 p.m. for tea with his father. 54 minutes later, he emerged, telling well-wishers that the king was great, thank you. It was their first face-to-face meeting in 19 months. Charles had travelled down from Balmoral specifically for the encounter, a detail that spoke volumes about the king's priorities. As one royal source put it, this is an important first step towards rebuilding their father and son relationship. He has told his father he won't be giving any interviews about it, and his team have been instructed not to brief journalists about what was said. The timing wasn't coincidental. Tom Sykes observed something crucial. Charles revealed his cancer diagnosis not out of modern transparency, but because he understands that power drains from monarchs the moment people know they're dying. I honestly suspect that when Harry wrote that book, he thought he would have 20 years to make up with his father, Sykes wrote. We can all now see that it is not going to be the case. Harry concluded his visit Thursday at the Diana Award, making his final pitch for reconciliation through charity work. The Sussexes announced a $500,000 donation to support children injured in Gaza and Ukraine, following Harry's earlier $1.4 million gift to BBC Children in Need. But not everyone was buying the redemption narrative. Piers Morgan wasn't having it. They spent 5 years enriching themselves in California for trashing their family. You can't get away from that. The most intrusive person in the royal privacy ever has been Prince Harry, with his book and with his Netflix series. My thing is, you can't have your cake and eat it. What he wants to do is cherry-pick certain things and make him look good. Former royal butler Grant Harold, who once worked closely with all three men, was equally sceptical. The king doesn't trust Harry because of what Harry has said. He's worried that he would use it to his advantage. And he has. He's done what household members typically do and spilled the beans. If they reconcile, then fall out again, what's to say there won't be another book, Netflix series, or interview about it? The skepticism extended to Harry's future plans. While some royal watchers suggested Harry might be laying down his pen and microphone for good, others weren't convinced. Unlike most people, there is monetary value in Prince Harry's grievances, noted Kinsey Schofield. Millions can be made from his family drama. Financial necessity could push him back into the spotlight. But perhaps the most significant news came Saturday. Buried beneath the drama of Harry's homecoming, public support for the monarchy has dropped to its lowest point in 4 decades. According to the latest British Social Attitudes survey, just 51% of people now believe it's important to keep the monarchy, compared with 86% when the question was first asked in 1983. The numbers tell a stark story Charles and William can't ignore. 1 in 3 people, 31%, now believe the monarchy is not important, while 15% say they favour outright abolition, up sharply from just 3% in 1983. Even when asked to choose directly between the monarchy and an elected head of state, support was lukewarm at best. 58% preferred the monarchy, but 38% wanted it replaced entirely. These polling numbers provided crucial context for everything else happening that week: Harry's charm offensive, the carefully staged reconciliation, William's competing engagements, Kate's strategic appearances. They were all playing out against a backdrop of declining royal relevance and growing republicanism. More Palace Weekly in just a moment. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, Meghan was dealing with her own crisis. Her Netflix cooking show was reportedly bombing, with insiders telling sources people who worked on the show don't think it will be picked up for another season. It's not doing well, or what the network would have hoped it would do. The criticism was particularly brutal. Jan Moyer in the Daily Mail wrote, "Like a squid on a hot grill, I curl up at the edges every time this cottagecore version of the Duchess of Sussex gift wraps a cake or simpers about her apple butter." For here is a woman who burned every bridge she has ever crossed, has suffered from multiple accusations of bullying, always denied, and ghosts anyone who has ever displeased her, including her own father. The business implications were serious. Brand strategist Nick Eade pointed out the fundamental problem. The viewership is down. People really don't care about With Love. For Netflix, the headache here is that, is this going to convert into sales for their product? Are they actually going to make money from this? If you think about it, they haven't really made any money just yet. Even the Beckhams seem to take a subtle swipe, posting a video about their homemade jam, with Victoria dubbing it David Beck Jam, and joking about David being quite the entrepreneur. A cheeky reference that royal watchers interpreted as a dig at Meghan's American Riviera Orchard venture. Royal author Hugo Vickers raised concerns about Meghan's use of their children in promotional contexts. He ought to be extremely annoyed. Obviously, I don't know what he thinks, but I think he does what he's told, probably. You know, what worries me much more, to be quite honest, is what the children themselves are going to think when they get a little bit older and they realize how they've been exploited. The Sussex saga overshadowed other significant royal news. The monarchy lost another senior figure with the death of Catherine, Duchess of Kent, at age 92. Her upcoming funeral will mark the first Catholic funeral for a member of the royal family in modern history, a detail that speaks to the changing nature of royal Britain. Princess Anne, meanwhile, found herself 5th on Channel 5's Royal Rich List 2025 with an estimated fortune of £12 million. Despite being notoriously thrifty, Anne has quietly built wealth through decades of royal service, her Gatcombe Park estate, and jewellery collection worth £5 million. As Charlotte Griffiths noted, Princess Anne is the best value for money the royal family has. She works more than any other working member of the royal family, and she's completely frugal. There was even a moment of levity when Spinal Tap appeared on Jimmy Kimmel. Asked about potential knighthoods, Derek Smalls summed up the moment perfectly. From your mouth to King Charles' ears. As the dust settles on Harry's whirlwind visit, one thing is clear: the House of Windsor is a family in transition, with an ailing king trying to heal old wounds while his heir apparent prepares for a very different kind of monarchy. The 54-minute tea at Clarence House may represent a genuine first step toward reconciliation, or it might simply be another chapter in a royal soap opera that's been running for 5 years now. The broader questions remain unanswered. Can Harry and Meghan rebuild trust they've systematically destroyed? Will William ever accept his brother back into the fold? Can Charles navigate between his paternal instincts and the institutional demands of the crown? And perhaps more importantly, does any of it matter to a British public increasingly indifferent to royal drama? Former royal butler Grant Harold's words hang over everything. William and Harry were not just the best of friends, they were inseparable. At Highgrove, they were always together. They were walking together, in the pub together, on motorbikes together. Very rarely did they do stuff separately. I was genuinely shocked when they fell out. There must be something deeper going on that we're not being told. For 1 week at least, Harry reminded everyone why he was once the most popular royal in Britain. Charming, spontaneous, genuinely caring. The question now is whether that's enough to bridge 5 years of burned bridges, broken trust, and a monarchy facing its biggest crisis in generations. The clock is ticking, and everyone knows it. And there you have it. If you would like to email us, our email is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. And just as a reminder again, we have a bunch of new shows out today, along with Palace Intrigue and Palace Weekly and the Deep Crown for subscribers. We have Crown and Controversy Season 1 wrapping up. Crown and Controversy Season 2 starts next week, and this is the show that sort of takes over from the Crown TV series. And then, if you've ever noticed, but the Norwegian royals are a handful too, so we have a new series following some of their trials and tribulations. And Crown and Controversy Norway, the Rebel Royals, starts today too. You can get all of these series ahead of everybody else if you're a subscriber. Otherwise, they're out every Sunday. And don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Come on over and say hi. And we really, really, really appreciate all your support. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.